Hi, I'm Steve Hayes. I'm one of the shepherding elders here at Fellowship Missionary Church and one of the founding members. We started the church back in 1982, and at that time I knew that I was a part of something special. I knew that I was having a special privilege that many people didn't have. We came out of First Missionary Church. It was a church that we loved, and they were intentionally planting this church in a new area of Fort Wayne. And as I was a part of that, and as they prayed and sent us out, I really had this sense of this is the way church ought to be. This is the way it ought to work. And that's been a deep privilege in my life to be a part of that. And then as we go through and we start growing, we started looking for a place to be and here in South Fort Wayne. As we looked, I would go to different places in the community and say, is this the place, Lord? And stand on that land and pray, and is that the place? And we looked for sites, and all of a sudden this site came open, this open field that used to be a part of a farm here in the community, and it just dropped in our laps. The Lord put us there to stand there in that open field and say, this is the place we should be. Again, what a privilege to know that God was directing our ways. Then as we went through and to see the growth here to become what we are today, where we have many races in the congregation, many income levels, and yet we are part of this one body. And I look at us and I say, this is the way it should be. This is the way church should be. And that's been a deep privilege in my life, and that's a deep privilege that all of us have now. With that in mind, let's hear this message from Pastor Dave DeSelm, our founding pastor.
I wanted to take some time to share with you about something I've been grappling with for some time. Last month, it's hard for me to believe, yet all too true, I turned 65. That reality has been underscored by multiple invitations from AARP and regular reminders to sign up for Medicare. And though I've been blessed with good health and strength, at times I feel every bit of those years. Volleyball playing has given way to volleyball watching, and afternoon naps are frequent. I've been considering what the future looks like for me, yet I've also been grappling with what the future would be for us here at Fellowship. For nearly 34 years, it's been my joy to lead you. It's been the greatest privilege of my life. Yet, like it or not, I have to understand that as time goes by, change is inevitable. For the past few years, I've been wrestling with the prospect of the inevitable season of pastoral transition. When to do it, how to do it. I've met with the experts, I've read the books, I've talked with other pastors my age. What I've learned is that typically the way it's handled is for a retirement date to be set by the outgoing pastor, an interim pastor to be put into place, and a search committee to begin to seek out a new leader, a process that can take months or even years. As I've researched this, the statistics are grim. The fallout from such a drawn-out process, as well as the challenge of bringing in an outsider, especially in the succession of a long-tenured senior pastor, typically results in the loss of a large number of people. Those that remain to varying degrees struggle with embracing a stranger and following a different vision. But God has shown me that there's a different way, and as it relates to fellowship, a better way. Let me tell you what I think He's shown me and what I think He's leading us to. There are some churches that have found great success by the current leader handing off the leadership baton to a strategically chosen successor who would carry on the current vision and values that have been committed to. The gain was found in both familiarity and continuity. I pondered and prayed about that for over a year. And increasingly, I became convinced that this would be the best way to move FMC forward. Sharing it with a subset of the elder team and then the entire board, they agreed that this would indeed be best for FMC's future and asked me to come up with a plan toward that end. In the nearly 2 years that have followed, I've been praying fervently, pondering deeply, and having long conversations with Gwen and other godly counselors. This matter has kept me awake in the middle of the night. Over and over again during this time, I've been pleading with God for direction. I have to say that I believe in the past 9 months, God has answered my prayers. I've shared those answers with the elders, the administrative committee, and with the staff. Now I want to share them with you. I assumed that in the next year or two, I'd be done here at FMC and right off into the sunset. Again, this is what is typically done, even though the fallout from that action is quite costly. However, I believe that God has challenged that assumption and has been telling me that I'm not done at Fellowship yet. I still have a role in helping to lead this body into its next season. And what a season it will be. I am so excited that we're getting increasing traction on this stream of being a multi-generational, multicultural, missional community. We're seeing the idea of making disciples who make disciples who make disciples take root. I also believe, however, that at this point in time, Fellowship needs a different leader at the helm to take us into our next season. 3 decades of leadership, with its ups and its downs, its accolades and its criticisms, have taken a toll. While I want to be part of Fellowship's future, I simply cannot be the one at the tip of the spear. We need a leader with fresh energy for that task. Even more important, we need a leader with a forward-looking apostolic gifting that can lead us into the development, disciple-making culture that God is calling us to. We need a leader who can help us build on the good foundation that's been laid, not unlike the way Joshua built on the foundation that Moses laid. And I believe that God has been preparing one of our own, Pastor Joe Johns, for that role, and that he should be the next senior pastor of FMC. Joe has the vision, Joe has the passion, Joe has the ability, Joe has the gifting. He has, in fact, proven his leadership capacity on multiple occasions. From Go Days to World Relief Partnership in Congo, to Race for Peace, to helping us move into a commitment to become a disciple-making culture. Moreover, I totally trust his character as well as his skill. I've witnessed firsthand his love for this place and this people. Over the last few months, Gwen and I have been meeting regularly with Joe and Steph, along with Executive Director Wayne Fay, to discuss this possible transition. Early in the process, Joe floated the idea, Dave, what if you don't have to leave? What if there's still a place for you here at FMC in this next season? Interestingly, this idea was confirmed independently by another seasoned leader who has been coaching us through this process. And he talked about the idea of a soft transition, that rather than leaving, I would stay on staff and take on a more grandfatherly role. Joe affirmed this idea and the importance of using my strong teaching gift alongside his strong apostolic gift. And while he would certainly shoulder much of the Sunday load, he suggested I remain part of the teaching team and fill the pulpit a good percentage of the time. Other aspects of this grandfather role could be teaching various classes, mentoring young pastors, discipling men and women. In addition, I could use my years of experience here at Fellowship to invest in other churches. This would all have to be detailed in a new job description, but would keep me at Fellowship and would allow me to remain with you. So, Lord willing, though this is a time of transition, I'm not planning on going anywhere. And if this process is affirmed, I will continue to have a significant role here for the foreseeable future. Make no mistake, Joe would definitely be the senior pastor. But I can bring my 34 years of relational, spiritual, and intellectual capital to bear as we move into new areas of mission and discipleship. In conclusion, I want you to know this. I'm absolutely convinced that great as our past has been, I see a wonderful future dawning where we see a community formed that increasingly is committed to marking not only our city, but well beyond. I believe that Joe is God's man to lead us there, and I'm excited to follow him and partner with him. I long for you to join me in that great adventure.
My wife Stephanie and I and our boys are deeply honored and humbled to be considered as Fellowship's next senior pastor. We've prayed considerably about this, and to tell you the truth, we feel called. We feel this is the Lord's calling on us at this season in our life. There's been 16 years of preparation here at Fellowship. That's how long we have been here. And it's been a unique partnership with Pastor Dave between our giftings and our passions and our shared vision for who Fellowship is and who we're becoming. Part of the Lord's leading for this transition plan, I believe, is the beauty of the consistency of vision at Fellowship. Same vision, same values. What we build on, we're going to build on and move into the future. It's this consistency of vision that really compels us in this opportunity. And I invite you to join us as we move into this vision in our future together.
As a part of the transition team, I want to say to you that having been a member here at Fellowship for the past 17 years, I fully support the transition that has been placed for Fellowship. I have total confidence in Joe, and we are so blessed, we are so fortunate to still have Dave as a part of fellowship and as a teaching part of fellowship. Please continue to pray as we transition into the new vision of fellowship, and be a part of that by remaining a part of fellowship and being a part of increasing the vision, supporting Joe with the new ideals that he's going to bring.
Over the years, one of the things that I always could rely on is I knew that Pastor Dave had a heart for God, and no matter what happened, I knew that that heart for God would take us in the right direction. As I look at the transition over to Pastor Joe, I have that same confidence that Joe has a heart for God, that I know that he will seek God. And with that, that gives me a high confidence that God will be with us in the future as we go into it together. With that in mind, I look forward to a bright future for Fellowship Missionary Church. Here's some ways that you can participate and prepare for that future together with us. You can download the informational package for the transition on the church's website. If you look at it, there's some key things that you can use to participate. One is to pray. There's a sheet in there with prayer requests. Every week there'll be a prayer request sheet out. There's question and answer sessions that you'll be able to join and be a part of and get your questions answered there. And then of course the last thing is to be here on June 5th to participate in the vote for the affirmation of Joe for the senior pastor position of Fellowship. Thank you for being part of Fellowship Missionary Church and participating in the privilege we have for this transition.